Okay, so supposed to have a job interview because I've been retired for a little over a year now. Super bored. So I'm going back into the world to work, right? But anyways, the reason I'm making this video is because I was supposed to make a video Saturday. If I had to stick to the schedule, I believe I make videos Mondays and Saturdays or something like that. I have to look at my channel stuff again. But I'm going to try to become more consistent with making videos. And there lies the problem, right? So, to be honest, the last few chapters of Berserk, because that's what the channel really got traction on, it the last few chapters have me quite disappointed. And here's why, right? I feel like, and let me close this door so I can talk better and not get any noise. So, in the last few videos of Berserk, I feel like the spark of Miria is missing. And what I mean by that is like, yes, there's obviously discussion and the story is moving forward, but it it is not flowing the way it it did when Muriel's behind the helm, right? I feel like Berserk, it's lost that magic, and maybe it's just because I'm hoping they get back on track. But what I mean by that is, right, I was reading the last few chapters and I had to reread them again, try to understand what happened in that whole Elven Island arc and how the island just disappeared all of a sudden, all the magical creatures disappeared and things didn't just make sense, right? And it's just like, to me, the story is not flowing well. It's not adding up. I felt that when things happen in Berserk, even with the eclipse and everything and the mystery behind it, it made sense. It added up, right? It adds up. But I felt like in the last few chapters, the everything that's happening is just on characteristic of each character. Like Shireke just being like, trapped in this in the astral plane, right? Guts just breaking down completely like that. It's just on characteristic of each character, I feel. And you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. And maybe I should make a video talking about it, right? And that's why it's just hard for me to make a video talking about Berserk and my theories and stuff now, because the person behind the helm, I feel not like they've lost touch with the story, because obviously the artwork and stuff is still there and everything, but like they kind of like they need some guidance on the story. I just feel like it's just not the flow Muriel would have used, right? First off, and let me talk about it like this, right? Guts breaking down to the point where he can't even function with Casca being gone. I understand he was in a vulnerable position because Casca could not be around him, right? That makes sense, right? Casca was there and, he finally freed her mind, but he couldn't even approach her. And, boom, Guts reacted to that in a way like he was like, "Oh my God, I saved this girl, and she's loving my life, but I still can't be seen by her because she just mentally breaks down." That would destroy anybody, right? And even someone like Guts would put him in a weak position. But with Griffith being there and Guts not being able to defeat Griffith, we saw Guts literally put the sword, the Dragon Slayer, in his mouth to try to fight Griffith. For him to break down to such a level where he's on his ship and he doesn't know what to do and he's in chains and he's not fighting back, it's just very uncharacteristic of Guts, because I've I've never seen him this distraught ever in the entire series, right? I am not trying to say this cannot happen to someone as strong as him, and obviously he's gone through enough for something like this to happen, but we always saw him as a character that it does not matter how broken down he feels, he gives in more into his rage than his, you know, this version of him. That's why I just can't get behind it, because it's not Guts. The Guts we are seeing or reading right now is not Guts, and I just can't accept it. My mind, like, I'm not going to lie to you guys, right? I literally sit down there and I'm like, okay, how to make a video on Guts? I was like, I can't. This is not Guts. The Guts we're seeing right now is not the Guts we know from the original story. I don't know if the writer or whoever's managing or editing the story right now, they have, I don't know if they are taking creative liberties, or it's just the way how the person is writing it. But this is not a correct portrayal of who Guts is. Guts would break down after fighting or trying to be opposing, right? And in his own head, he will go through these scenarios, but he would not break down to the point like this. Like, he has never in the entire series broken down to the point where he refuses to take a stance. And that's why we love him as a character, because despite how bad and crazy shite get, he always moves forward. He's berserk. He's tough. He's guts. You know what I mean? And that's why it's hard to make a video on it now, because again, like, I feel like when Muria passed, the story kind of faded with him. Yeah, and thank you, Melissa, right? Like, I've just been sitting there, like, I've been trying to make videos. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'll tell you what my Saturday was. I wasn't feeling well Saturday, but I sat there in front of the computer, and I'm like, man, I really want to make a video, because different people comment on different things, like, hey, what about if Guts fought against this person or that, like these different theory videos and stuff. People have really good comments in the comment section, right? But I'm just there sitting, and I'm there thinking, I'm like, how do you make a video on character development or any type of possibilities when the character you know is not the character anymore? And it is making me fearful, because I'm a huge fan of anime, but my favorite series, and it's because I'm 41, right? So I'm old. But my two favorite series is Dragon Ball Z and Berserk, right? Those are my two favorite series. The reason why I love Dragon Ball Z is because it's one of the first few series I saw when I was growing up in Trinidad and Tobago in the islands, right? Used to run home to watch Dragon Ball Z. And then Berserk, because it was the first series that had me so emotionally invested in this man's story, right? I never saw someone went through so much turmoil, and I just wanted them to win, but they just can't win. But both of these authors are dead, and my whole point is like, it's kind of scary, because in the death of the editor, the original creators, the characters themselves, it's not like they died, because Guts will always be immortal and Goku will always be immortal, but like, whoever takes up his story after the fact, you really have to stay within the lines, because any type of deviation, and then you isolate the original fan base, So it's really hard to write Guts as a character. Like, when I think about it, because Muriel had that brilliant way of writing, right? And what I mean by that, I did not understand something until on this whole topic, until I watched something called Robot Carnival, right? And Robot Carnival was an anime that was created back in the 80s. And you're probably like, well, what's the point of this, right? And I'll use this explanation to try to build it up, right? I watched Robot Carnival last night on YouTube. You could type it in. It's called Robot, ROBOT Carnival, like CRVINAL Carnival. But the reason I'm bringing this up, it reminded me of what Disney used to do, and Disney used to do things like this, being able to tell a story without using dialogue or words, right? And I feel like the last few chapters of Berserk, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, they weren't able to tell a story with just using animation and drawings. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just like, and what I'm seeing from the story makes no sense. Like, I feel like Muria was a master at portraying like the senses of what's going on, the turmoil, the anguish, the pain, everything someone would be feeling without even putting words there. But what's happening now is just like, it's just not the same style, and I just can't get behind it. I'm trying, but even when I reread the chapters, I'm like, this is not how it would flow. It's not flowing good. Ugh, it's frustrating. And that's why I made that video on Jujutsu Kaisen instead, right? Because I've been watching that, and I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen have like a lot of stuff that's happening, and it's easier to explain, right? And it seems fun and popular, so that's why I made that video. Although I haven't made videos in a long time, I could tell from watching that last video. I was like, man, my style of storytelling sucks. I need to become better again. So I'm out of practice on YouTube, so I'm going to make better videos by practicing more. But as far as Berserk goes, I am very worried about the future of it, because I feel like even if in the end we get what Miura is trying to say, I feel that it's going to be diluted or switched in some way, shape, or form that may not get his true expression across, right? And this is why I hope that they do something similar to what they did for one of these series that Miura was working on when he died. I can't remember the name. It starts with D. But it's with the girl who was androgynous, and it was a new series he just made. Gosh, I'll have to look it up and get the name. But what they did when a few months ago, I saw it on one of the manga sites, Manga Freak. They released the entire script of what was going to happen in the story and what it was. Yeah, thank you, Duranki. Thank you so much, Duranki. Series I was trying to remember. But I love what they did, and thank you for helping with that. If you look at Duranki, instead of trying to make a series out of that from Miria's template, they just released the entire template and allowed people to read it and interpret what happened in template on their own. That's what I felt should have happened to Berserk. They should have made a nice big book you buy for, like, even if they want to make money, make it like a $200 book. I would buy that cash if I could read and touch the Mind of Miria one last time and just go through his novels or his short stories for the Berserk stuff. Like, he had a short story with Grumble and all kind of stuff. Just have people read it and interpret it for themselves, and then from there you could make videos. You could talk about theories based on the novel of Miria's final books. You know what I mean? I just don't like the idea of an editor or editors coming out and releasing a story now, because again, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this. I know it has to be other people who feel this too. Look at the last 5 chapters. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look at the last 5 chapters. You sit there and you think about it. You're like, man, I see what you're trying to go with the story, but it's like I feel like they're missing out fine points. Like, for example, Rickard, right? He's with the army right now, and obviously he's got more skill. But let's look at it like this: he's not older, and we were told back in the previous chapters that if you're on the Elf Isle, time flows differently, right? Yeah, you see, yeah, time flows differently, but even that factor wasn't even taken into the story. So it's just kind of like, and this is what happens when you are not the original creator, right? If you're not the original creator of an idea and stuff, certain ideas fall through the cracks, and certain concepts and theories fall through the cracks because you are not him. You're not Miria. So, you know, if you are going to recreate a story based on what someone says, take your time, reread the story a few times. I would have not just you, but your entire team read the story like at least 5 times before you guys come to the drawing board, so you know the theory in itself. And that's why I think, like, the creators of Dragon Ball Z, well, hey, not the creators, the people who work on Dragon Ball Super and stuff, notice when Akira Toriyama, God bless him, rest his soul, right? You notice they stopped the series, they put a full halt on it, right? And Dragon Ball series was done monthly. You know why they put a full halt on it? Because you have to take a step back to respect the guy, first off. Number 2, make sure when you move forward with his work, because they're going to move forward, because Dragon Ball Z is a billion-dollar industry, you have to take your time and make sure whatever you do not crap on the franchise. And I feel like they didn't do that with Berserk. I felt like they're rushing it, and it's just not translating well with me, or I think it's not going to translate well with the fans, because it's just not Berserk the way. Like, okay, what was the last chapter of Miria done? Remember when the God Hand was revealed? Like, it was revealed with Skull Knight encountered the God Hand beforehand and everything. I felt that was a very powerful story in those chapters. And just look at those chapters, how they were done compared to chapters being done now. It's just a full-on different transition. It just doesn't feel natural or right. So that's my whole hold up on it. So I am waiting to see how they go forward with the Berserk series. I'm going to continue making stories on it because I thought the channel was going to be dead because Miria died, but going forward, we are anime channel and I need to make stories on different anime and stuff. So I'm going to look at other series too, but mainly when it comes to Berserk, I don't want to rush on to make different theory videos because I need to respect what Miria would have wanted himself, which is he takes his time, he took time to think about the story and everything. And hopefully they really start, I guess, not word bombing the story, but just doing it justice. I just feel like we're missing something. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make you reread it, but you should reread the story. Like, I reread Berserk at least once a year, right? And that's why when I reread it the last time, I'm just like, this is not flowing. And actually, I reread it because of this whole scenario. I'm just reading it. I'm like, this is not flowing well. This is not flowing well. It went from just, again, yeah, just look at how Berserk was and how it is now. Name one time in Guts' entire career in this series where he was on the back burner and he was like, I can't do this, I feel this, I feel that, I feel bad, blah, blah, blah. The guy, even when he donned the Berserker armor and it tore through his body, the guy was the main focus and pinnacle of the story. Like, he fought through everything. You telling me he couldn't hurt Griffith and that would be the end of that? He was like, nah, I bet you at that point in time, what would have made more sense to me because you saw your demon dog attacking him after saying the chains are broken down and stuff. What would have made more sense in that time when he couldn't hurt Griffith on the Elf Island is if he succumbed to the demon dog and he became this monster and they couldn't, like, he just destroying friend and foe alike. That would have made more sense than what happened there. And he just succumbed to his demon, right? That would have made more sense than Guts wallowing in a prison right now. That makes no sense to me. The seven, the boys survived. Yeah, I could look into that. And you know what? I'm going to look into all the comments. Yeah, for sure. But all right, this is how I would have wrote this part. Hold on, let me check the time because I have an interview in a little bit. All right, so still have time. Okay, this is how I would have wrote the last few chapters of Berserk. Guts could not defeat Griffith, and at that point, the demon dog comes from behind him in the shadows. It's like, now it's like, give yourself to me, give in to me, yourself, you know, whatever, give me everything, and I will help you defeat this guy. Yeah, we haven't seen him rage in a minute. Guts, this is not Guts. And tell me this, right? That's been one to kill Griffith from these hill of swords till now. That's the same Guts we've been dealing with. How all of a sudden he sees Griffith again in front of him, taking his not just there, he's taking Cass away. How did Guts not lose himself in his demon? That makes no sense. Right now he's just in chains, like lying down, like it doesn't make sense. Guts would have succumbed to his demon instantaneously. It would be like lightning strike, demon dog infused Guts. And then if he was killing like the sun people and stuff, that would have been more like Guts at that point in time, right? More like, and then Shireki, she goes into the astral realm to try to piggyback on Guts and try to get him out of there. And then she gets pulled down deeper into the astral realm with Guts. That would have made more sense than what happened in the story right now. And then that's what caused Guts' catatonic state right now. That would have been better writing. And I think that's what they're trying to convey. But the way they did, it just makes no sense to me. Like, instead, we have Guts in a cell, you know, and the demon dog is talking to him and having this dialogue. That makes no sense to me. That's all I'm saying. It's just like, it just doesn't seem berserkish. So, or the demon, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. And you know what? I'll do more of these. Like, going forward, if I cannot come up with a video idea, I'll just do a quick live stream to touch base on the days I'm supposed to make videos anyway, and build up my confidence on making videos again. Because if you have talent on doing something but you don't practice, you suck. So I'm gonna practice. But no, seriously though, I'm I think Berserk is still a great story. I just feel like whoever's translating it for us is might be taking, I guess privileges in doing so and may not be getting Muriel's message across properly. That's all I'm saying. So, you guys may think, comment down below. I'm gonna get ready for this interview, and it's here. What can I do there? Okay, yeah. See, I'm waiting to do it. So, all right. Wish me luck. Wait, yo, can you do the video I requested, please? Yeah, sure. Let's see. Can you please do the seven, the boys? Wait, the boys, is that like the superhero series? It, um, Silva, is that like the superhero? Yeah, just text me down below if it. Oh yeah, it is. Oh okay, the boys. Okay, I mean, you know what? Yeah, sure. I will do research. And what you want to know about the boys? Let's see. What you say? Surviving in Berserk. Oh well, yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about that. I have like 2 more minutes. I can do that. Okay. Would the boys survive in Berserk? No, actually, I would say no. I don't think most people would survive in Berserk because, and here's why, right? God hand are literal gods, right? They are dimensional beings, and again, if Griffith was able to catch the strike from the Skull Knight, that's a literal dimensional cutter. That means he's able to shape and mess with reality. If they wanted to, they create illusions, which we saw. They create illusions. The God Hand can create illusions where people see things that are not there. Homelander himself is mentally deranged, so he's mentally unstable. So remember that one guy who got eaten by one of the apostles in the eclipse? He saw some beautiful woman with tickle bitties, right? So let's be real. Like, if you made Homelander see a bunch of people mocking him and stuff, he could alone will wipe out everybody there, and then Homelander can be hurt. And I'm pretty sure they have enough powerful beings, because we know the God Hand are super strong and stuff. They're strong enough to probably rip him apart. I don't think any. Hold on, let me think. Since who could really survive the Will of Berserk? Oh yeah, Corcus. Yeah, Corcus. Yeah, like I don't think any regular being could survive the Will of Berserk because of the mental anguish you will see, and that's what makes God special. And again, goes back to everything I was just talking about before. What makes God so resilient is his mind. For him to break down because Casco is taken again doesn't make sense, because again, the Will of Berserk, Guts been through hell. He literally been through hell. The average person couldn't go through that. As we saw, not even Homelander could go through what Guts went through and survive, because he would literally go mentally insane and kill everything. And then they will make Homelander kill him his own self. That's what I think would happen. So that's my thoughts. You guys comment down below. Just make a video. I'll think about it. You know what? For you, I'll think about it. All right. I promise. I'll think about it.